and no.
Because I think that it's easy to start a conversation with somebody, even easy to, here's Nancy, to say what you want to do. I mean, what you do, if people ask you and you can talk about what you do, and then it gets to that point of an ask and it's like, well, maybe not, maybe next time. Good morning, Nancy. What can we celebrate with you this morning?
Oh, we're recording.
Oh, shall I stop the recording? How it's easy sometimes to talk to people about what we do when we're making contacts and to have conversations, but what's hard is getting to the end of the conversation and making the ask and or the invitation. So that's what we were talking about, because we both have an aversion to the phone. So I don't know. I wish I could give her some courage for that. If I could, I'd give myself some more too.
So you guys are saying that you're having a hard time doing the ask?
Yes, yes.
So I have found that instead of asking, if you lead with your passion, which you both have, and leave it on an open-ended question, that naturally the ask happens for you.
Mm.
So like when you're about to leave someone, if you're just like, if you set that next step of the open-ended question where whether it be a text or in person, like, okay, so when do you, like with texting, I'll be like, is it okay if I follow up with you, or I'm going to check in with you? What day works for you? And if that tactic doesn't work because of specific time and date, I'll like challenge them to do something. So I have to follow up with them. But I'm also selling something completely different. So, but I believe that it's not selling. Nothing is selling. Nothing is asking, because if you purely enjoy what you do, you are not selling. You're using your passion and your gift to give to people.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. What do you think, Carol?
I like the idea of challenging, in what ways can you better your health this year, or what ways can you do to affect your breathing to make it better?
Because that way you're not pushing. Because people feel if you're pushing, like if you truly lead with your heart, it will flow naturally. It won't be so much work. Okay.
Yeah. Well, when I ask about specific programs or I ask for referrals, those are the hardest things. And they say, well, I don't know anybody. I'm like, that's okay.
So with referrals, I've asked, what I like to ask is, do you have an experience that I've helped you with, or someone that could benefit from? Because that word referral, I think, carries like a responsibility and a weight for people. Yeah. Because they're like, oh, I don't want you to call this person. I don't want you to talk to this person. That's fine. I don't have to call them or anything like that. Like, you can connect me with them, or, could you just share your story with them?
That's great. We'll continue this when we come back. If you come back, you might be at work already and Carol's going to be at her appointment, but thank you for sharing. I'm going to stop the recording. So we'll continue our discussion of being able to reach out and go beyond just a conversation to actually engaging the person to serve them. True, that's what we're looking at.
Yeah. The key thing was get out of my head. And when I share my passion, I want to share more words than I need to share. Mm-hmm. So keep it simple. And I scripted it out, and I'm like, okay, the key things I want to do is wish them a happy new year, tell them about my new programs, ask them if they have enough time to chat for 5 minutes, ask permission, stay focused on them, not me, show my passion, pause, and wait for feedback or ask questions. So sometimes I tend to rush it through. So those are the things that I learned today, and not put a lot of extraneous stuff into it.
Yeah. And that's hard when, well, I not hard, but it's a challenge when I get nervous, I tend to talk
Yeah, me too.
and talk.
Yep.
Yeah, so that capacity to restrain talking and listening, which is what, as a teacher, that was kind of my motto, was to ask, not tell. Ask questions, don't tell them, because when you ask questions, you find out what they know and what they don't know. And you find out with a potential client, you find out what their needs are.
Yeah.
And where they are. So I need to tattoo that on my forehead.
Yes. For me, it was like, take more time asking how they are, and what's been going on with them since, it might have been 5-10 years since I've talked to some of these people.
Yeah.
And it's different than a blind call. So it's like, we met probably at a health fair, kind of thing. And how have you been? How's 2022 treating you so far? And, things like that. And, and then maybe talk a little bit about how COVID has messed up our lives, acknowledge that.
Yeah. We all have that in common, huh?
Yeah.
Well, that's,
yeah.
yeah.
Nancy did a good job of helping me get my page of script.
Oh, good. And I'll be looking forward to hearing how that works for you. Because it takes a lot of courage to even make the phone call. At least for me, it does. And I don't know, the fear. I always try to. What's the underlying fear? What's the cause of having that that trepidation around making phone calls? Even
rejection.
It's rejection.
Yeah.
Not being, not being good enough, and then really the rejection isn't for us. They're not rejecting us. It's not the right time for them, or it's an issue that they have, and it's really hard sometimes to know that intellectually and feel it emotionally.
Yeah. I don't know where this came from, but I just remember this. It popped into my head. You can't say the wrong thing to the right people, and you can't say the right thing to the wrong people.
Yeah.
So it's like, it really, show up, do the work,
Yeah. And don't take it personally.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hardest part.
Yeah, that is that I've heard that as well. So it must be a lot of different transformational speakers that use that. Yeah. You can't say the wrong thing to the right people, or the right thing to the wrong people. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. That's a good one. I'm glad you brought that one up, because that is a good one. And especially when you're going into a call or a conversation, because I go to a lot of networking functions with the chamber, because I'm integrally involved with our chamber, and I so seldom talk about my business. I don't even know how to start. When Kelly and I were doing the fundraiser for Break the Silence, I knew that people would support it if I just opened my mouth and say something. But again, I would stop, with that fear of, they won't want to do it, and what does that mean? And the chatter. Yep. So that's why I like this positive intelligence thing, because it's giving you a way of getting rid of the chatter.
Yeah, and it also shares ways of how to get into your sage powers too.
Yeah. Well, I'm
navigate and explore, different ways of doing things. So,
well, and in Fearless Living, we have similar. We call it our fear busters and our fear buddies.
Okay, pretty much the same thing. Yep.
Kind of alike, but still, this is adding another dimension, because then we develop a set of proactive behaviors, which these PQs are proactive behaviors, but they're more visceral, and the touch and the breathing and they're a little bit more visceral. So I think adding those to my, my toolbox will be really helpful. But we're on our third day, or maybe our fourth day of doing. So practicing the PQs every day, I think will be really helpful to, because we talk about fearless living, creating new neural pathways by recognizing your fear and then implementing positive proactive behavior and negating the negative, the self-destructive behavior. So what I like is all of these things kind of get to the same thing. It's just a different kind of vocabulary.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah, but I mean, the truth is the truth.
I was gonna say the truth can never be disputed.
No, and I mean, there's light and there's dark. There's truth and there's, falsehood. There's God and there's Satan. However you want to look at it, it's all the same thing. It's darkness and it's light, and the light is what guides you to, your purpose.
Yes.
So I like that. So I like studying different people, their approach, and then working it into fearless living, since that's what I, offer people. But
yeah.
I
have to jump on another call, but
okay. Well, it's great to see you this morning, and you take care.
Yep. You too. Bye-bye.
Share with you, because the last time I talked to you, I was auditioning for the play.
Yeah.
And which took courage. And so in the meantime, it took courage to turn down the part. So I turned down the part, which took courage, because, that meant that they'd have to find somebody else. Not that it's that hard to do. But my granddaughter is the one that encouraged me to audition. My granddaughter is amazingly talented. I was certain she would get in the play, and I was willing to try to practice making my schedule fit that, because that was going to be a real challenge to add on a rehearsal schedule for 6 weeks. And, but I was willing to do it with her. She did not get cast, which was a big mistake. But anyway, she did not get cast. And so I declined my part, which took a lot of courage. I mean, I didn't do it to say, oh, you should have cast her. I did it because it wasn't worth it to me, my time, to do that kind of a hectic schedule, which Kelly says, oh, Mom, you should have done it. And then I said, yeah, but I would have had to leave our program early every week. Oh, well, no. Okay.
Yep.
I really wrestled with that, because I've directed plays before. I know when somebody, but it was not a big part. So anyway, that took courage, and I did it. So I felt good about it, and I acknowledged myself for having the courage to do that.
Proud of you.
Yeah. Yeah. So we were talking earlier today about courage in inviting, courage in sharing our passion. If you want to, we could continue talking about that, or if there's something you'd like to talk about, we still have 4 minutes. So are you raising your hand, Suze?
Yeah. I just want to talk about the courage that it takes to show up fearlessly and fully in yourself, and to I want to acknowledge your daughter, and just to say, like, to be able to take the heartbeat of OPWP, and it makes us very seen, and it makes us feel very seen and known and heard. And that means the world to us, to be able to have volunteer positions like for the heartbeat and the communication, and to look at this and to feel your spirit, Foxy is everything. Like, it really is everything. So being able to tweak a couple things that are behind the scenes that you wouldn't know, that isn't known because it's behind the scenes. So, but to see your personality come out, and to see what that is going to mean and what that will do for the community, and I think personally and professionally, and all of that. So just want to acknowledge you. And I know that it does a mama's heart good. So I feel like it's a great place to acknowledge you too, and to say, having the courage to put this out there and to be exactly what we need is awesome.
Yeah. I can agree to that for sure.
Mm.
She has learned so much, and just she's so talented at doing this, a skill she didn't know she had.
Yes.
And
Yes. Stop. No, keep going. Keep going.
oh, yeah. So it's
I mean, it was a little bit scary to not have, because I told you guys from the beginning, I'm the type of person that likes direction and likes to feel like I know that I'm doing what you're wanting. And I didn't
You are.
have a lot of direction. And so I kept sending you guys drafts and wasn't getting much feedback. And so it was like, oh, am I doing it right? And
Yes.
so it's exciting to hear that I'm going in the right direction, and I can continue to trust that
Yes.
what I'm doing is what you're needing.
Yeah.
Because I think the thing that that I was scared of the most was it fun? Because
Yeah.
that was the, thing that I guess different from making it a non-newsletter, is that the
Yep.
point was to make it fun.
Yep.
And because I don't really have that objective when I'm making our, Fearless Generations newsletter. So I'm glad that it hopefully came across that way. And
It did.
and I think that it because it is a different focus than the one I'm making for ours, it can be more fun,
Yeah.
that it's supposed to come across, with information that our community needs, but also in a fun, lighthearted way.
Yes. It's like the best friend that you have through the screen. Like maybe the communication is like how you would communicate with your BFF, and we love like the pictures of the fox and the color coding to the foxy and the like, just all of it it's awesome. So thank you for that.
Well, thank you. And thank you, Kelly, for having courage to step up and be yourself. So a perfect example of